Hello and welcome to another episode of the SMEFocus show brought to you by FactoryNOW TV. I'm your host, Chris Greenough, and in this series we will focus on SMEs within the British manufacturing sector. Every week we will discuss and analyse the opportunities and indeed challenges facing the industry in these unprecedented times. I have worked in the sector for over 27 years and I am CCO at SD Technology, one of the leading manufacturers of pressings and assemblies in the UK. So hopefully you can appreciate this show is very much for manufacturers by manufacturers. Really excited to introduce my guest today, Anita Davenport-Brooks, HR Development and Apprenticeship Ambassador Chair at Lander Automotive. Well, that's some title, Anita. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Chris. Nice to see you.
And nice to see you. So tell us about Lander Automotive and what you do.
Okay, Lander Automotive are obviously a manufacturer of automotive components. Yep. Initially, they were a family-owned business, started in 1877, manufacturing wire goods, and in the 1970s, they started to branch out into automotive. So currently, we manufacture trim products, air, fluid coolant pipes, battery coolant pipes, seat structures, cab structures. So we supply automotive and commercial vehicles as well.
Okay, and in terms of company size, headcount, turnover?
Company size, we've got around about 244 employees. Yeah. 80 of those are apprentices. And we also have about 100 agency workers on top. Turnover is around about 30 million.
So a decent sized company. And yeah, you're obviously a very keen supporter of apprenticeships. What drives you in this?
I've always had a passion for people development and people being given the opportunity, no matter what. Their background or their ability to develop and grow. So I was an apprentice, and I know the directors within our business, out of the 4 of them have done an apprenticeship as well. Mm-hmm. I see it as an opportunity for individuals to learn, earn something, get the work experience that they need, and be a bit more rounded. I think people going to university is brilliant as well. I think having the opportunity to do that is great, but it isn't for everyone, and apprenticeships isn't for everyone either. But I do passionately believe in people being given the opportunity to grow and develop. And we've seen some young people that have come in with difficulties, personal difficulties. They've been in care, they suffer with differing abilities. Yep. And to watch them grow and develop and, achieve a qualification and do a good job is really good job satisfaction.
Absolutely. And you say that there are those 2 different routes, either going to sort of mainstream college, university, or the apprenticeship route, and people learn in different ways. And that's really the key. Now, your drive and enthusiasm, which I admire, has helped Lander become a leading light in the vocational learning route. How do you keep your enthusiasm level so high? What gives you the passion to keep going?
I think because I'm also a lifelong learner. And I remember leaving school with not brilliant qualifications. I didn't enjoy school at all. And when I left school, I had a whole world of different qualifications, courses was opened up to me. So the first thing I did was I want to learn another language. What do I want to learn? So I started learning Russian. And I thought that's a bit of a challenge for me. And I'm always challenging myself to learn something new. And I think because I've got that passion to grow and develop and learn, I like to see others engaged and want to learn and develop too. So I think it's been not only personal, but I get enjoyment about seeing people achieve and progress.
Absolutely. So have you got some Russian you can give us now? Do you still practice Russian?
Yeah, очень хорошо, which means very good.
Superb. And it's really that lifelong enthusiasm for learning that really helps Lander where they are now. So you've helped Lander win numerous awards throughout the years. How do these wins inspire the team? What do you put yourself forward for the awards for? What does it give to the team?
We look at, well, where are our strengths? Apprenticeship program development, operational excellence. You know, that we're always looking at improving not only what people learn, but how they apply it within the workplace.
Yeah.
So we also think about, well, let's shout about this positively, because a lot of people contribute within the business to make sure we achieve the targets that we have and the KPIs. So our main aim is to think, well, okay, let's apply for the award. If we're lucky, we get shortlisted, that's great. If we get the opportunity to go to an award, who are we going to send as a celebration? That might not necessarily be a director or a manager. It could be, we have sent apprentices along, we have sent some of our training providers along, managers, engineers, you know, different people from different parts of the business, to recognise that their contribution is just as important. So it's not just about putting the submission in, it's giving other people the opportunity to celebrate with us as well.
So that really helps sort of drive that enthusiasm back into the business, because they get to go to the awards, they get to see other apprentices, and really, I mean, you said you got 80 apprentices out of a 200 and something workforce. That's a high percentage.
Yeah, it is.
That takes a lot of time, not just for you, I know, and your team and your managers. So how many out of that 80 would you expect to keep within the company?
We would look to keep around about it. What we actually do is, in the first year, they complete the first year in manufacturing, and then we look to keep about 20% that will go on to the next level.
Yeah.
And we don't just decide arbitrarily, oh, we're going to take these people onto the next level. We look at their attendance, their behaviours, their attitude, whether they applied themselves, whether they achieved their qualification, and then we give them a second year based around a relevant qualification.
Yeah.
And then for the same for the third year, in the third year that they're given the opportunity to do a presentation, they have a personality profile. By that time, they're probably in more of a specific role. Yeah. So team leader, somebody in quality, engineering, manufacturing, engineering. So we tend to look at what is our succession planning and aim to keep around about 40%.
So that's really good. That's a good number to aim for. And do you have people that then go on and do degrees, apprenticeship degrees?
We do, definitely. We've got, I think, 2 apprentices at the moment within manufacturing, engineering and quality that are working towards degree apprenticeships. We've also recognised, obviously, with standards changing now, level 3, you have to be in a specific job role. Yep. So we're looking at, well, what specific job roles potentially are we going to have within the next 6 to 12 months? And we're recruiting through the apprenticeship program, looking at how we'll fill those roles with the apprentices by giving them the work experience and the knowledge of our business and the qualifications, of course.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people don't realise you can do an apprenticeship at any age. Mm-hmm. You get paid while you're learning, and you can end up with a loan-free degree. And that's really something that, working with companies like Lander, I know you do spend a lot of your time preaching about apprenticeships as the route to work. But Lander is now famed with your help for the work they do with apprenticeships. And it's really interesting.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing, you saying that about, you know, degrees through apprenticeships. I remember having a conversation with the father of a young lad that was just completed his first year, and he went into welding, and his father came in and he said he's not doing a second year. And we said, well, okay, do you want to explain why? He's really keen, he's past the interview stage. And he says, no, I want him to go to university. And I said, okay. I said, how would you feel then if he worked really hard here, He got his level 3 qualification, and then we discussed with him what future roles we've got, and potentially he could go on to a degree here and you don't have to pay for it. And his father looked at me and went, would the organisation pay for it? I said, the qualification's there, and it links in with the business. Yes, we will. And he was, oh, right, okay. So it was kind of a light bulb moment for him. And this young man is now finishing his second year doing his welding and fabrication qualification. He loves his job. We said to him, you know, if there was an opportunity to do a degree, do you want to? And he said, actually, I don't. I do like what I do. And sometimes that can happen. The parents will say, no, I want my son or my daughter to do this. But it's when the individual is actually in the workplace and learning on the job and developing and growing that they make more of a conscious decision about what they want in life. And they become stronger and start to, no, Mum, Dad, this is really what I want to do at this point in time.
Absolutely. And that's why I think the apprenticeship route is so good, because it's not just about the business finding out who the young person is. It's about the young person seeing the business, seeing which area of the business they actually like to work in. And it may be they come into a manufacturing background and end up in sales or commercial, or there's so many different varieties. And you did mention that the standards have changed. I think there's still some knowledge base that needs to be transferred to parents and schools of what the apprenticeship route is now. It's a completely different route than it was.
Definitely, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. And as part of being an ambassador network, being in charge of the region for the West Midlands, I have KPIs that are sent for the region from the government, and part of that is engaging with more parents and schools and putting the message out there via the network about the importance of apprenticeships and how it is a really good different route for young people and people that have struggled, probably, that are, you know, working in manufacturing or different sectors, that want to change their career to do an apprenticeship so that they can actually try a different career as well. So I think it's important to recognise that. Absolutely.
2020, tough year. What about 2021 and beyond? What does it hold for you and Lander Automotive?
As you say, very tough. It's still tough at the moment. We've got a lot of organisations within automotive and other sectors are suffering with the semiconductor issue at the moment. So that is impacting on us, our schedules. It's impacting the schedules. Fortunately, you know, we can utilise the furlough scheme, but we're really hoping that Q3 will be better for us. We're planning to continue recruiting apprentices, possibly on a smaller scale, but also to look at, you know, how we can do more succession planning internally, recruit less externally, and start developing even more. We do anyway a lot of succession planning, but we really want to push that now. We've just promoted a young guy that joined us. He did work experience back in 2014. Went to university, joined us in 2016. Now he's as a graduate engineer. Now he's just been promoted to program manager because someone's retiring. So rather than recruit externally, he's a young lad that we're giving him the opportunity. So we really want to do more of that and retain our workforce as much as possible.
Absolutely fantastic to hear, and it's fantastic the work you do. I admire. I think you're doing a fantastic job, not just at Lander, but promoting the apprenticeship route and the vocational learning route. Anita, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's been great to talk to you, Chris.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anita. That brings us to the end of another show. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to meeting more of our brilliant SME manufacturers and those involved in the sector, like Anita, next week. If you would like to get in touch with the show with a comment, a suggestion, or even to appear on a future episode, please email us tv@mtd.media. So, as Anita said, there is a future for vocational learning. There are jobs available. The apprenticeship route is a great way to get into a manufacturing company, such as Lander Automotive and other great companies in the UK. So from me, Chris G, @SDE. Goodbye.